We go once again. We are live. Just making sure everything is set up here. I think we're pretty much good to go. Hey, what's going on, guys? You are checking out an all new the RCWR Show. At the time we're doing this, we're just a couple of minutes removed from the season premiere of Smackdown on Fox for October 4th, 2019. This is your WWE Smackdown October 4th, 2019 review, as Brock Lesnar shockingly ends the 6-month reign of Kofimania in less than 10 seconds, folks. You heard me right. There's a new champion. Oh, yes, there is. There's a new champion. And his name is the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. I want to hear from you guys for the next little bit that we're going to be live on the air. I got to be straight up honest with you guys. I did not plan on doing this. The very last show that we did, we were talking about AEW, and I'm supposed to be enjoying a nice little break until Hell in a Cell Sunday. But I tell you, I was curious. I honestly was going to watch SmackDown on the DVR sometime during the weekend, probably early Sunday morning before I got my NFL fix, getting myself ready and everything, prelude to the pay-per-view and everything. But I said, nah, you know what? Only 3 matches at the time that we were last on the air, which was Wednesday. There were still no other matches announced for Hell in a Cell. So I said, you know what? Let me go on ahead. Maybe they're going to announce a few more matches towards Hell in a Cell. Let me go ahead and check out SmackDown. Hey, after all, it's the season premiere. It's the first episode on Fox. Rock's going to be there. I'll probably have a good time. Overall, it was a good show. I would definitely admit that. Overall, it was a good show. But man, that last little bit of a burning sensation, that last little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth, so to speak, seeing the way the Kofi Championship reign came to an end. I mean, we're going to kind of go a bit back and forth all over the place, but I mean, let's really just go in with that shocking closing moment. I mean, look, it's not shocking from me as far as Kofi dropping the title to Brock Lesnar. Anybody that has been listening to this show for at least 6 months, I have gone on record and I said, nah, you know what? Matter of fact, I said as soon as it was revealed that Fox had acquired SmackDown, the very first thing I said was, well, Kofi 9 times out of 10 is going to hold on to that championship just long enough until WWE makes the move over to Fox, and then they're going to have him drop the title to Brock Lesnar. I even went a step further and I said it's either going to happen before WWE's next pay-per-view or it'll happen at that pay-per-view. The pay-per-view will happen shortly after SmackDown makes the move to Fox. That's basically how I outlined it. I was very specific in what I was talking about. And I had some of my colleagues, they kind of egged me a little bit, some not mentioning my name, kind of, I don't know if maybe they felt I was going a bit extreme, if maybe I was being a little bit discriminating towards Kofi or what, but some people thought that was kind of silly and everything. Took a couple of months, but I gotta tell you, and our longtime listeners will back me up on this, I never wavered from what I said about Kofi. Contrary to how some people may have felt about his title reign, I stood my ground and I said, no, Kofi is a great transitional champion right now. He's a great transitional champion. There's just no way a guy like Kofi is the guy you want as far as a champion goes when you make that move to Fox and you're trying to bring in those Fox viewers, those casual viewers, those viewers that maybe have not seen wrestling before, or maybe those wrestling fans that haven't tuned into the product in such a long period of time. No, you don't want to know. And I kept saying over and over and over again that, hey, look at the demographics that is on Fox, FS1 for that matter. Look at, and I kept telling you guys, I said, owe it to yourselves. If you're not familiar with Fox's lineup, particularly when it comes to FS1, brush yourself up, educate yourself, because you need to prepare yourself for what's to come once WWE does get in bed with Fox. And I told you guys, I said the demographic that Fox has had for a long time, they have had that 18 to 49 demographic that loves them some NFL. They also love them some college football. They also love themselves some NASCAR. And when they had the UFC, remember that, wasn't that long ago, when Fox had the UFC, they had that same age demographic as well. Now, they tried everything they could to try to continue to hang on to UFC because it was their ultimate goal. Hey, man, if we could figure out some type of a way to have WWE and UFC under the same umbrella eventually, that would be kind of badass. But we all see how that had played out, right? So understand that as far as the demographics for FS1 and Fox and all of that, man, you could see this just from a marketing standpoint, you know, and if you don't know a thing or two about marketing, that's fine. But anybody that, you know, knows a thing or two about public relations, about marketing, you're just looking at this whole thing, you're taking a step back and you're going, okay, so this is what your key demographic used to be over on Fox FS1. Okay, so they're familiar with the fighting and all that. Okay, well, why not kind of go in with that MMA aspect? You know, why not go in with some kind of reputable names that 18 to 49 demographic is probably going to recognize and everything. So I think strategically what WWE had did in setting things up for tonight's premiere, it was awesome. And you know, this isn't me sucking my own dick about the whole calling the thing for months about Kofi. It's not. I'm just really setting the tone for you guys as far as being consistent, as far as never wavering. I was always right down the middle. No, Kofi's going to hang on to it long enough. Now, if you would have told me, here's where I'm a little bit perplexed and I'm a little bit saddened for Kofi Kingston. Yes, I am saddened. You heard me use that right terminology. I am saddened for one Kofi Kingston. And here is the reason why. If you would have told me, my God, almost 6 months ago, Lee, you're right about the whole Kofi thing. But the way Kofi is going to lose that title, pretty much his 6 months of a championship reign, it's going to be negated in less than 15 seconds. It's going to be an afterthought. It's going to look like it was nothing but whacked. It's going to look weak. Pretty much however the majority of fans have been feeling about Kofi's championship reign all of these months, in a nutshell, it's going to be reflected by the time Lesnar gets his hands on Kofi. I would have said to you, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you go in that direction? Like, seriously, nah, surely you're going to have Kofi Kingston go out in a fucking blaze of glory defending his championship and everything. Like, nah, that doesn't sound right. I would have expected for Kofi Kingston, if he was going to drop the title, I would have expected for him to drop it. I'm not saying a 25, match or anything like that. Come on, we can forget about that. But at least up to a 13-minute match. That's not really asking too much, is it? I ask of you. I ask of you, the SmackDown fans, the WWE fans, the Kofi Kingston fans. Even you diehard Kofi Kingston fans. I ask of you. Having Kofi Kingston face Brock Lesnar, he's going to lose the title, right? That's fine. But at least up to a 13-minute match, that's not asking too much, is it? Surely Lesnar can work that long. Surely WWE has paid the Beast Incarnate enough money where he can try to make Kofi look as legitimate as possible instead of the ultimate chump. I mean, after all, we saw Brock Lesnar have some phenomenal encounters with Dean Ambrose. We saw him with AJ Styles, right? We saw him take on who's another one that he had took on? My God, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor. We've seen Brock Lesnar work with smaller guys and tell a really great riveting story in the process. So, okay. So a guy like Kofi Kingston should be able to go in there, and yeah, using his speed and all that. Okay, yeah, another David versus Goliath story. We should be able to tell that story extremely well here. But no, for your first episode of SmackDown on Fox, we did not get to see Kofi Kingston tell that story. Instead, we see bell rings. I mean, Kofi does. I don't even think Kofi. I blinked and the match was over, but I don't even think Kofi got in a strike on Lesnar. I believe that thing just pretty much said, ding, ding, ding. Brock Lesnar just charges after Kofi, picks him up. You see the F5 is coming. It felt like slow motion for me. I'm processing this and I'm saying to myself, well, okay, Kofi's going to somehow use the momentum of what's going on with this F5 setup, and he's going to spin himself off the back of Brock Lesnar, and then he's going to go on ahead and he's going to, boom, hit him with an enziguri, or maybe he's going to hit him with a Trouble in Paradise or whatever, but the match is going to continue because that's only going to be a near fall. Okay, no problem, right? So both men are going to kind of come at each other almost like you were that close. I can pretty much end this at any moment. I just need a couple of seconds. That's it. Followed up with 3 seconds and I got you. It's over, right? I'm thinking that was the type of story that was maybe going to be told as I'm processing. It's amazing in how many microseconds you just looking at things in slow-mo and you're going, oh, okay. It's just, didn't think nothing much of it. But no. Brock Lesnar connects with F5. 1, 2, 3. You have a new WWE champion and Brock Lesnar. Again, if you would have told me 6 months ago, at the time that the Fox deal was announced and I was on this show and I said, Kofi will hold on to that title just long enough till that Fox deal falls through. He'll hold on to it long enough until they make the move to SmackDown. He'll either drop it right before SmackDown or he'll drop it at the pay-per-view, the first pay-per-view after SmackDown makes the move to Fox. If you would have told me, no, he's going to drop the title on SmackDown, I would have said to you, well, stranger things have happened, and if that's one of the ways you want to kick off being on Fox, I'm down with that. But here's why I felt a little bit like, well, no, we're probably not going to go in that direction with Kofi. And it's okay if many of you were under that impression as well, right? Let's rewind it back to what we saw of Raw just a few days ago. We saw Brock Lesnar, for whatever respected reason he was there. He was on Raw. And he got in the face of Rey Mysterio, got real physical with him. Remember that? Now, if you were of the general consensus that said, oh, well, you know what? SmackDown on Fox, that premiere is this coming Friday. Hey, how much you want to bet? Rey Mysterio and or Son is going to come out and they're going to screw the hell out of Brock Lesnar. And then, okay, Lesnar, the Mysterios, all right, okay, that ain't no problem. But yeah, it looks like Kofi gets to fight for another day. How about that, right? Now, if you were part of that general consensus of fans, there was nothing wrong with that mentality. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. You know, contrary to how some people may come at you, they may snicker or whatever. If you honestly thought that way, there's nothing wrong with that. You know why? Because what you were thinking was logical. It made a lot of sense. Okay? Here's the other thing. You all that had peeped out SmackDown tonight, did you notice after Raw went off the air this week, hey, all right, so what's going on with Hell in a Cell here? Oh, yeah, you know what, calling the game, they didn't announce any more matches for SmackDown, for Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. What's going on here? Oh, well, you know what, I'm sure it's loaded up. Let me just look on Wikipedia real quick. 3 matches. Oh, surely that's an oversight. Okay, well, surely there's more. You go on your favorite wrestling website, no, it's pretty much 3 matches. You go, well, surely by the time we get to WWE NXT, there's going to be some more Hell in a Cell matches announced. Nah, no Hell in a Cell matches announced. Okay, well, you know what? That's fine. We've got Friday, and it's SmackDown. we're definitely going to hear of some more matches that's going to come about. And as it stands at the time that we're doing this show for you guys, we're still sitting at only 3 matches for that Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Now, I don't know about you guys, but keeping in the back of my mind the whole Rey Mysterio and son possibly screwing Brock Lesnar, I was kind of looking for something along the lines of somehow Paul Heyman is able to get a rematch for Lesnar and it's set up at Hell in a Cell, right? That way, oh, okay, yeah, we're giving the SmackDown audience a free match, but any title changes that's going to happen or whatever, nah. Since we're about 48 hours away from a pay-per-view, we're going to make folks come up out of their pocket to see it, be it on the network, cable, satellite provider. That's how we're pretty much going to get them. We're going to tap their wallets. That's how we're going to get them. If you thought that way, there's nothing wrong with that form of thinking. Nothing wrong with that. But WWE did not even go in that direction. So, I mean, what do you make of that? What do you make of everything that I just said to you? Is there a bit of, you could call it poor booking? A little bit of sloppiness there? Not really thinking? Still don't know what the hell to do? Yes, all of the above that I just said. You could probably draw to that conclusion. I even posed a question on social media. It's got a couple of retweets and everything, but I'll pose the question to you all listening live and those of you that will be checking this out on demand, which is 48 hours, less than 48 hours before a WWE pay-per-view, and there's only 3 matches. Can you all ever recall another time in WWE history where the entire card was not revealed yet? I mean, I'm almost tempted to go with that one Paul Heyman controlled ECW pay-per-view that was pretty much the nail in the coffin for his tenure with WWE up to that point. I want to say it was the 2006 ECW's December to Dismember. I want to say that because like we really didn't have an idea of what was going on with that entire card. But then like when we finally did get to hear what the matches were and everything, if I remember it right, the pay-per-view had ended way super early or something like that. So I that's one kind of but still, when you go back and you even look at that card, at least, okay, it might have ended way early, but at least you had 7 matches, including the dark match. At least you had 7 matches. Here we are with a WWE pay-per-view less than 48 hours from now, and we only have 3 matches. I don't know about you guys. It seemed like there was a lot of all hands on deck for this SmackDown, that the details that mattered the most, it kind of feels like the pay-per-view is just an afterthought. So this is the point that I'm bringing to you guys. If not that much emphasis is going to be put on your card for the pay-per-view, if there isn't going to be that much emphasis on why you need to go out of your way, forget about the season premiere of Walking Dead. Forget about them Cowboys and Sunday Night Football on NBC. Forget about the NFL action this weekend. Come on over and check out some WWE pay-per-view action. Well, if you don't have your entire pay-per-view card lineup, what the hell is the incentive for really wanting to tune in and check this out? Where's the motivation here? Is the point that I'm making. But wait. SmackDown gets even more interesting. Just when we think, okay, so we have a new WWE champion in Brock Lesnar. No, it doesn't end right there. We hear the music of Rey Mysterio. You're going, okay, all right, so this follows up from Monday. Okay, we got a little bit of consistency here. Okay, so Ray is maybe going to take on Brock Lesnar here. He's going to issue him a challenge or something at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Nothing wrong with that if we're going to go in that direction. Totally down with that. No, we get hit with a nice swerve. Rey Mysterio brings out a buddy. His buddy, none other than former UFC heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez, 37-year-old MMA fighter. Boy, I tell you, I remember when he had took on Brock Lesnar. As far as blemishes on Brock Lesnar's MMA career, when you go to the UFC, man, That's that one as far as rivalries go, that's that one joint that Brock Lesnar goes, man, I wish I could get my revenge. And then we can do a rubber band match. I wish we could get that. You guys want to have something really cool to check out over the weekend, get your nice mouths wetting up and everything, get your appetite fixed and all that. Go out of your way and check out when Brock Lesnar have fought Cain. They have fought, I want to say it was UFC 121, and Brock Lesnar was holding on to the championship at that time. And Cain defeated Lesnar via TKO in the first round, earning the knockout of the night honors. And then after that, I believe he suffered a torn rotator cuff during that fight with Lesnar. And it was expected he was going to be sidelined for several months as a result. He had to have surgery, as a matter of fact. But he had the surgery. He had returned afterwards. Now, you know, that's Lesnar and Cain's history and everything. You've heard little rumblings off and on that, you know, Lesnar wanted to, you know, get back in the ring. That's one of the people that he had wanted to fight and everything, but seemed like something never really did come to fruition and everything. So as far as Cain and the whole MMA goes, last thing he did, he had headlined UFC's inaugural event on ESPN, UFC on ESPN 1 against Francis, I think the last name is pronounced Ngannou. It was February of this year. He had lost that fight via knockout in the first round. So he's been still in the MMA, you know, off and on over the years and everything. And with regards to his MMA record, he's had a total of 17 fights. Out of those 17 fights, he's won 14 of them, 12 of them by knockout. 2 of them have been by decision. And you just heard me talk about one of those losses. He's only lost 3 times. As far as losses by knockout, only 2. 1 other by submission. So, you know, a pretty impressive record and all that. And look, we've heard that Cain has been very interested about going into the whole world of pro wrestling and everything. You know, he's teased it a lot over the years. And as a matter of fact, I want to give credit to MMA Junkie. They had just put out a report earlier this evening that had talked about how he made the decision to move on from MMA and everything. I believe as far as the U.S. anti-doping testing pool, I believe he informed UFC of his intention to withdraw from it. You know, every time you get ready to do a fight, for those of you that don't know anything about MMA and all that, anytime you're getting ready to do boxing, MMA, what have you, typically you're going through what's called the USADA, the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency testing pool. Just as it sounds, they're testing you. And as you all know, a couple of years back, Brock Lesnar, you know, so his shit came back tainted, and through his representatives, they was like, no. You know, we're going to get all of this cleared up. You know, it's just a big misunderstanding, and nothing ever did really materialize from that, right? So Lesnar ended up getting fined and all of that other shit. And I'm trying to think. I think the last guy that Lesnar had fought MMA-wise, I think it was Mark Hunt, wasn't it? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm a little rusty on my MMA. But I remember that was the last guy that Lesnar had fought. And Mark Hunt was pissed like a motherfucker. Mark Hunt had said something along the lines of, look, you know, he failed the USADA there, you know, shit, UFC, on top of fining him and everything, I should be getting his purse by default. I remember Mark Hunt was just causing a big old ruckus and everything like that. So, Cain, Lesnar, you know, got that history there and everything. This is good because it's fitting that demographic, Fox, FS1, that still fucks with MMA, definitely likes their wrestling. And I got Shaba saying I am correct as far as my memory goes. Thank you, Shaba. I appreciate that, buddy. So, you got that history there with Lesnar, Cain. You've also got that history with the fans that know about those two and everything. I see exactly what WWE, and I wouldn't be surprised if Fox executives, like the top executives, they're like, okay, look, this is what we want to happen on our show, right? Remember, on this very show, many months back, I said, look, don't be too surprised if Fox is trying to be pretty hands-on about what stars they want to see on the Blue brand, because they are coughing up a pretty fucking penny for this for the next couple of years. And you don't think they're going to have some type of stroke in what's going to be happening and everything? So I like what's going on. I mean, did you guys even peep that? Know your NFL. Did you all even peep Erin Andrews? You now got Erin Andrews. I guess we're going to be seeing her weekly. She was backstage interviewing New Day, all three members, and you guys got to forgive me, and it ain't no racial thing or nothing like that. I think if anything, what I'm getting ready to say may make some of my brothers and my sisters happy to hear me say this, right? But my girl, Pam Oliver, I tell you, she's like the Rodney Dangerfield of Fox, man. She gets no respect. Homegirl is kicking off her 25th year being incorporated with Fox, right? I remember her, man, God. Man, I grew up on Pam Oliver, man. Was cute 25 years ago, still as cute as a button this very day. She is a fine, smart-ass sister. I love me some Pam Oliver. And yet, when it comes to needing some type of a sideline reporter, now look, I don't want to assume, because maybe Pam Oliver, maybe they approached her and Pam said, nah, I'm flattered, but my schedule just ain't cutting it or whatever. I'm not getting the impression that, what we saw with Erin Andrews tonight was a one-time deal. I think sporadically, I think she's going to kind of have like that Renee Young type of deal. I think she's going to have a special contributor role, and we're going to be seeing her a lot. But it's like, damn, we couldn't get my girl Pam Oliver. It's like, Erin Andrews just pretty much, and you know why I'm talking about this as long as I am, right? Because there was an interview, an infamous interview now. Pam Oliver had talked about basically being pushed to the side. And if I remember her words correctly, I'll rely on you guys again because I hate misquoting. But I kind of remember she was definitely salty about what had went down. And I want to say one of the key words she had said, look, it's all about younger, blonder, prettier. Pretty sure she said something along those lines, and it was looking as though she was on her way out the door, because I think at that point she only had like a year or two left on her contract or whatever. Because remember, Pam Oliver, she used to be part of the A team. So whenever Troy Aikman, whatever game they was calling as far as America's Game of the Week, Pam Oliver was there on the sidelines. But then once Erin Andrews came on board, I mean, pretty much any and everything that Pam used to do, even incorporated with the Fox NFL pregame show. Not that shit that comes on before. I'm talking about the real pregame show with Bradshaw and them. Like when Erin Andrews came on board, everything just went to her. So, it is what it is, man. But look, Cain, Lesnar, I'm feeling it. Bring it on. I think fans that are not familiar with this rich history that these two men have and everything, the backstory and all that, WWE is going to have a fantastic time telling that story. And I love seeing Cain standing his ground and everything. I know some people are probably going to pick on him, and they're probably going to be like, man, that dude is so fucking small and everything like that. It not really that different from the Velasquez I remember that had faced Lesnar years back. What you see of him is what you get. And he may not look like intimidation to some of you guys, but watch some of his UFC fights. Oh, you owe that to yourselves. Check out some of his MMA stuff from over the weekend. You guys will definitely see what the hell I'm talking about. But that should be good. So, I mean, at this point, when are these two guys going to lock it up? Is it going to be at Survivor Series? How we mapping this out, right? Very curious. And then, not to mention, next Friday on SmackDown, night 1 of the draft. Now we're going to find out who becomes exclusive and everything to Raw and SmackDown. So can't wait for that. A lot to look forward to on next week's show. You guys are checking out a commercial-free, sponsor-free edition of the RCWR show, although we do have some Patreon shout outs we'll need to get into in a little bit. I got Marcus Towers saying in the chat, New Day is splitting up. Kofi is either going to Raw or New Day is going. Notice how the intro graphic showed Big E and Woods separate from Kofi. The previous graphic always had those three together. You know, I hate to read into so much about a graphic. I would rather, because that's a lot of speculation. That's really, you know, because I could easily counter that and say, did you notice how in the SmackDown graphic they had Seth Rollins in there, the Raw Universal Champion? Did you notice how in the SmackDown graphic they had Becky Lynch, a Raw Women's Champion, right? Oh, did you notice how, right? I can counter like that. I'm not going to feed too much on what I was seeing during the graphic intro for tonight's SmackDown. But what I will say is that intro for SmackDown tonight, that thing kicked mega ass. It kicked mega ass. I loved it. You know, we kept hearing when they were plugging SmackDown these past couple of weeks, AC/DC, but it's kind of like, hey, if that's the official song that they're using for the SmackDown intro, cool, but it's kind of like, well, let's wait a minute. And to finally see how it all came together, you guys and girls, if you haven't seen the SmackDown video package yet, you owe it to yourselves. Go out of your way and see the SmackDown new opener. I got to tell you, you know, I go way back with SmackDown. I remember when SmackDown had first made its debut over on fucking UPN. That's how far back I remember. And there are just so many themes that I have in my head that I play over and over. And I gotta say, this new theme that they're doing, I love it. That new theme, that for me, that's in my top three. If I were to give a particular order, I would have to go with the Beautiful People joint by Marilyn Manson. I got to put that at number one. That era, that theme, everything just was going on at that time, culture and everything. That was the perfect theme for SmackDown at that time. And then following up on that, yeah, he had that other joint, and I won't be denied. Break it up, smack it, whatever that damn little thing was. I like that era. That was a good era as well. Song, same reflection and everything. This song and everything, I like that. I like everything that came about with tonight. They set that up beautifully. Looked very crisp, very professional. Loved it. And then the stage area and everything, that was pretty badass as well. One thing with regards to the RCWR show, like, it's one thing if a question is posed about, well, who would you like to see get drafted? But going off of dirt sheets and what they're reporting, oh, well, this person is maybe going to go here and that person, we don't deal with that. We don't deal with hypotheticals. Now, we can do a mock jury. We can do that for you guys. If you want to do like a mock draft, we can do that for you if that'll get you guys talking. But we don't do that here. We just try to deal with the facts. And if anything, just spur of the moment, stuff that comes to mind and everything. Like the SmackDown entrance. That was good. They had better pyro. I like the way their entrance was set up more than what we got from Raw. But overall, I got to give the WWE product for this week, man, they passed on so many levels. This is something that fans have been wanting to see from their WWE product for a long time now. They've been wanting to see those larger than life characters come out and, you know, oh man, here's this guy. Oh man, he does this really cool thing, and the fireworks and, you know, pyro and all this other, the grand entrance. You know, the fans missed that. They craved that. And I'm glad that WWE has brought that back, because that was something that was sorely freaking missed. Hey, can we talk about some of these matches that came about tonight? Because I don't want this to go an hour long. I don't. I want to try to do this under 50 minutes tops. But hey, we got some Patreon members we need to shout out, man. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. Check out more bonus audio and video content. Great majority you won't be able to find anywhere else. Get access to the 30 with Lee series, reviewing movies of all types, hidden gems, underrated stuff. By the way, you know, we're talking about movies and everything. Before we go any further, I do want to send my deepest thoughts and condolences to fans all around the world, friends, colleagues, most importantly, the family of Diahann Carroll. Man, what a amazing actress, singer, and a model. And she was one of the first lead black actresses to have her own series, her own television series, really setting up the tone, you know. And it's kind of funny because you guys that remember the old Star Trek with William Shatner and all that, Lieutenant Uhura and all that, you know, a lot of people, they go, oh yeah, she was the first black, sidekick, if you will, on TV. No. That nod goes to the sister that was on Mannix. If you guys remember that TV show, she was the first, sidekick. But everything still kind of ties back to Bill Cosby, right? I Spy. But when you look at things from a black female lead actress perspective, Diahann Carroll was among the first, and she made some really good movies as well. If you guys are not familiar with any of her movies, I'll give one to you guys off the break that I recommend you go out of your way, rent, check out. I'm not gonna review it right here and now, but if you just want to get a good idea of what her work was about and everything, if you're a fan of blaxploitation films, right now, understand something. Blaxploitation films from back in the day, it didn't just consist of, hoo-ha, oh yeah, the black guys beating up the bad guys, it's predominantly all about an all-black cast telling an all-black story in an all-black neighborhood, etc., etc., etc. Look up 1974's Claudine. It's part comedy, mostly drama, co-stars a pretty young James Earl Jones. It was distributed by 20th Century Fox. I love that movie. Anytime I see it on TV, I've seen it I don't know how many times over the years, and I always stop what I'm doing and I watch it. And the plot for it in just a nutshell: Claudine Price, portrayed by Diahann Carroll, she plays a single mother living on welfare with not one, not two, not three, not four, but 6 children. And she's doing all of this while in Black Harlem. And she comes across James Earl Jones' character. I think his name is Rupert. He's a trash man. And, he's been noticing her for a while, and, he keeps trying to put the moves on her, and she just keeps shutting him down. I mean, understandably so, because she got 6 kids, right? Okay, we get that. But he is relentless. Like, he does not give up. And it's a very interesting relationship. It's a very, very interesting relationship that the two of these individuals have that really blossoms and everything. Check it out. You'll thank me later. If you like blaxploitation films, you are a fan of James Earl Jones and all that, you'll definitely like that. But rest in peace to her. Apparently she had passed away earlier today, I think, if not yesterday, complications to breast cancer, apparently. So shout out to our Patreon members, though, man. The Heartbeat, making content like what you're checking out right now, doing their own part in making sure that the content continues to stay free. Shout out to Sean Kenter. Shout out to my good friend John Krauser. John Krauser just wrapped up his Brain Freak live show out in the Chicago area. He's going to be taking a well-deserved break until December when he brings back his comedy, more rounds of his comedy shows there. Also, Patreon shout out to Friday R. Also, shout out to Justin Rebstock. Hopefully I pronounced that. He was like, Lee, I just heard you say all this time, I thought you were talking about somebody else. No. My last name is pronounced. I never knew that. You learned something new. Shout out to Tony Bing Gaming. You want the very latest news, reviews, previews on all things Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Marvel Strike Force, or the upcoming MOBA game, Marvel Super Wars. Tony Bing Gaming. He's your man. Check him out. He's got a great channel on YouTube. He's also got a Patreon as well. Shout out to Michael Wolf, John Davis, my good friend Anthony Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Soup. Hope you're resting well, buddy. And shout out to my good friend Joe Raymond Jr. Quick matches. Let's go. Love the fact that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had helped open up SmackDown tonight. Good shit right there. Who we had there? Rock, Becky Lynch, Baron Corbin. And to see Baron Corbin and Becky Lynch do a tag team on Baron, mocking him, his gimmick, Rock calling Baron Corbin a crackhead looking Burger King mascot or whatever, and Baron Corbin calling himself the most electrifying king in all of sports entertainment, considers himself what is it, what do you call himself, a strong tough dude or whatever, a strong tough dude. And you got Rock just latching on to that, and brilliantly. Okay, so from here on out, every single arena you go to now, the fans are going to be chanting STD. STD. I mean, leave it to Dwayne The Rock Johnson and people to I just couldn't help but laugh my ass off at that. That was great stuff. I know some people were looking at this segment and feeling sorry for Baron Corbin. Yeah, you got a lot of people that were actually feeling for Baron Corbin because they felt as though that segment, he was being buried. I don't see it that way, to the point I actually had put out a tweet, and I had said, dude, as far as how long Baron Corbin has been in the WWE, to be in a position where you could probably interview him, and then this is my challenge to, all of my colleagues that's out there, right? I definitely would ask him if I was given the opportunity. I mean, hey, we not for nothing, we've done our interviews over the years with big name acts and everything like that. But anybody that gets the chance, maybe before I am, to interview Baron Corbin, ask him this question. Be like, that moment, being on the first SmackDown on Fox, being involved in a segment, not just with Becky Lynch, who you had great history with, at the pay-per-view, some months back, and you did the end of days on her and everything. So, you already got that established history there. And I like how WWE tonight did that little bit of a nod without really acknowledging it, right? The only thing that was missing was them verbally acknowledging it. But I love that subliminally they did that little bit of a nod, all right? But for Baron Corbin to be on the first episode of SmackDown on Fox and be involved in a segment with one of the top trailblazing women on the WWE roster right now in Becky Lynch, and one of the most highest grossing, top box office mega superstars in Hollywood, and a great ambassador for pro wrestling in Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Dude, you had to have been feeling like a little kid. You had to have been on cloud nine during that segment. And I guarantee you, contrary to how some fans may have felt about, oh man, Baron Corbin, he's getting buried verbally by Becky and The Rock. Oh, and now they're doing a 2-on-1 beatdown on him and everything. Oh man, this sucks. They're burying the hell out of him. No. No. That man is on cloud nine. He got his 15 minutes of however long that segment was. He got his 15 minutes of fame. If anything, it helped get him over even more if you really kind of take a step back and think about it. Now, some of you may say, how did look, think about all of the people that The Rock has had infamous segments with over the years. How many times we've seen that moment incorporated on some type of a special countdown list, you name it, right? It's something that just continues to be brought up. When Jericho made his debut on Raw and The Rock interrupting him and all that, right? Just think back. First time Jericho doing the whole Stephanie McMahon, trash bag feeding whatever, right? Insert there. Like, you go into all of that, and that's the stuff that, all right, moments. And what I liked with SmackDown tonight, it kind of felt as though there was little traces of, let's just borrow from the first SmackDown, right? Let's just borrow this from the SmackDown on UPN. Hey, let's put that here. Let's sprinkle that here over on Fox. And I like that. I would like to honestly believe that there was not any part of Baron Corbin that felt like he was being buried whatsoever, right? He got to be with Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Becky Lynch. How many other people can say that? How many other people can have that type of bragging right? And to follow it up, you're on the first SmackDown on Fox. And it's live where anything can happen, right? I mean, come on, seriously, folks. It's good for Baron Corbin. All right, we did have a match. Becky Lynch teaming up with Charlotte Flair, taking on taking on Sasha and Bayley. Pretty good matchup. You know, was all right. It was all right. Charlotte, Becky Lynch defeating Bayley and Sasha Banks via submission. It was a good opener. Good opener. Continuation of the great energy from the Rock opening segment and everything. I liked it. It was placed perfectly. We also had a Firefly Funhouse segment that had interrupted Seth Rollins as he was making his way for a champion versus champion match. Now, the titles were not on the line, mind you. It was just one of those special exhibition matches as Seth Rollins was taking on United States champion Shinsuke Nakamura. Wait a minute. Is it the United States champion or is it the Intercontinental champion? I've lost track so much about who has what these days, because now that I think about it, I can't even remember who the hell has what title right now. I know Nakamura has one of them damn titles. I'm actually looking on Wikipedia right now, so I don't need anybody to tell me here. I'll just, for shits and giggles, look at it myself here. Let's see. List of WWE United States champions. That's what I want. Yeah, that's right. It's AJ. All right, so Nakamura's got the Intercontinental title right now. Okay, cool. Right? That's correct, right? So just skim ahead a little bit here. Yeah, I'm remembering. Yep, I'm remembering it right. Good. All right, so anyway, yeah, it was good. You had a Firefly Funhouse segment. Rambling Rabbit came back even though he died Monday. He was back again, this time reincarnated, dressed up like Seth Rollins and putting over Rollins, professing his love for Rollins and everything. And Bray Wyatt didn't take too kindly to that. Matter of fact, he had showed Seth Rollins via Titantron what was potentially going to happen to Seth in his Hell in a Cell match against The Fiend, as he locked in a red cage, Rambling Rabbit, and Mercy the Buzzard, and Mercy the Buzzard just went to town chomping his ass, and, well, Rambling Rabbit is dead once again. Rest in peace, Rambling Rabbit, 2019 to 2019. On a side note, you WWE Supercard fans out there, let me tell you something. I feel your pain, my fellow gamers. My fellow WWE Supercard gamers, I feel your pain. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, basically WWE Supercard, the game developer behind it, I think it's, or the publisher, I think it's Cat Daddy or whatever, they had this promotional campaign, and they put out this cryptic tweet. It was all throughout social media, but they put out this cryptic message. And they said something along the lines of 11, 19, 10, 3, 2019. And so you're kind of like, what the fuck is happening? October. I'm sorry, I got the damn dates wrong. Something like 11, 19, 10, 3, 2019. So you're like, okay, so what the hell is supposed to be happening October 3rd, 2019? At 11:19, and is it AM or PM? And depending on if you did a hard reset and you got back into the game just in time, as you were playing the game, you would have seen at some point, just as you're scrolling through the menus or whatever, getting ready to play whatever game mode, you would have seen Rambling Rabbit just appear from out of nowhere, and he would hold a help me sign. Now, some of you may have seen that. I'm guilty of that. I saw it actually the day before this cryptic message was posted. I said, oh, that's cute. What a nice little message they're putting up there. Okay, cool. I'm thinking, Halloween, whatever. Well, it turns out, if you saw that on your screen, you should have clicked on it, because by clicking on it, it had gave you a special hidden mission. And the hidden mission basically sets you up to get The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And so everybody was in an uproar because they missed their opportunities to get the rabbit. You had people that had their alarm set, and apparently they ran it twice. Apparently they did it at that same time, AM and PM. People many people, they did not get their rabbit. So, up in an uproar right now. Yeah, still in an uproar. And when that segment had came about, a lot of people had such a big old smile on their face, because for them it was a little bit of retribution for the agony that they were put through for about 12 hours trying to find that damn rabbit in their damn video game so they could get their fix. I got me some sleep. Look, I missed it. It's all good. Next matchup we have here. Let's see what else we got. Running down the card quickly here. So we told you about Shinsuke Nakamura, Seth Rollins. This match ended in a no contest. And you know why? It ended in a no contest because once again, you hear the sound effects, the lights, everything goes out, and you're like, okay, the Fiend, he's here. Where is he? You barely see the lights flicker as they come back on, and when it happens, you see at this point, Seth Rollins, he was in the ring, now he's hauled ass all the way to the top of the stage ramp, almost damn near the gorilla position, and you're going, what the hell? Like, damn, dude, you it's just a dude in a mask. Like seriously, you're gonna haul ass like that? And you would have just thought that after a month, basically, of being owned by the Fiend, Rollins would have this well scouted, be better prepared for this, have a weapon or something. I didn't like how that was booked. It was quite silly when it's all said and done. I didn't like that whatsoever. Career versus career ladder match. Kevin Owens coming out on top. He has defeated Shane McMahon, and as a result, Shane McMahon has been fired. He is no longer an authority figure, at least for now. Is it possible maybe there is some type of a loophole? You know, maybe the McMahons could bring him back. You know, we shall wait and see. You know, hey, look, I'm not going to miss Shane McMahon. I got to be honest with you. He kind of, man, he went a lot longer than anticipated, didn't he? A lot longer than anticipated. And I think when it's all said and done, even the most hardcore of hardcore Shane McMahon fans will admit, you know, hey, look, not for nothing, but he's getting a lot older. Some of the stuff that he's doing in there, he looks pretty freaking winded. I mean, that's the thing. Physically, he looks to be in great shape, phenomenal shape. But he looks to be gassed out after a couple of minutes and everything. And, you know, look, understand something. You know, as far as his contract goes, now, you know, this is a fact. This is something that he has said numerous times in interviews, candid interviews. He is just an actor. He's just a talent. He has nothing to do with behind the scenes, nothing to do with the writing, creative control, you know, none of that. He is just a on-air talent, okay? And for what he's been doing since he's been back in the WWE all this time, I think the second time around, it's been great. It's really been great for those of us that miss Shane, wondered where he was, wondered how he was doing, why there was such a, what felt like an estranged relationship there as far as him incorporated with the WWE universe goes and everything. So it's great that when it's all said and done, this was about giving his family, giving his kids, you know, the memories of, hey, we were able to see our dad, you know, when he was still, you know, at his best. We might have missed him in his prime. We might have missed him when he had the black hair, but we got to see a taste of, you know, what he was able to do back then in an older state, and man, you know, pretty freaking cool and everything. You know, look, when it's all said and done, you know, if you were to tell me, nah, this is pretty much it for Shane, Shane's just gonna now go back, be a full-time dad, full-time husband, work on his side business endeavors and everything, still make the occasional WWE appearance, I'm okay with that. If you're telling me at this point, hey, nah, Shane's just going to step away for a little bit. He's going to be gone for about 6 months, you know, maybe 7 months, but he'll be back. He's just recharging his batteries, spending time with the family, getting some much R&R. Hey, I'm okay with that as well, right? But I think it's been a long time coming, you know? So now the question becomes, now that Shane McMahon is out of the picture, Kevin Owens can finally breathe again, so to speak, what does Kevin Owens has his eyes set for now? And I think one of those things that we're going to have to look out for is that draft, get a better idea of where Kevin Owens' placement is going to be. I mean, I hope that KO gets to stay on the SmackDown side of things, because if he is able to stay on the SmackDown side of things, man, depending how long Lesnar holds on to that championship, I'm telling you, KO, Lesnar, I would love to see something like that happen somewhere down the road. Definitely, I would. Definitely. Or, who knows, after the draft, one Braun Strowman could be on that card. Just have to wait and see. Go over some other matches here. Not that many more matches to talk about from tonight's SmackDown here. Let's see what else we got here. We were just talking about Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman, Miz, Heavy Machinery. They had defeated AJ Styles, Robert Roode, Dolph Ziggler, Randy Orton. Pretty short match. I mean, it was like about 2 minutes and some change. There was a lot of showboating going on, around the side of the ring. I'm trying to think who was the guy that Braun Strowman had bumped into. Tyson Fury. That's the guy's name. Tyson Fury, that's another guy. And if you know your MMA guys, your boxing guys, and all that other stuff, Tyson Fury, that's a professional boxer. So kind of like that little bit of a rub off there, once again, of the whole celebrities. Jam-packed tonight as far as the celebrities go. I mean, so far we just talked about Cain Velasquez. We just mentioned Tyson Fury. And then there were some other people in the house tonight for SmackDown. Real quick, just going through the notes here, because I love taking my notes for you guys. By the way, we did have a cameo by Vince and Stephanie McMahon. They pretty much had opened up SmackDown before they did the official graphic intro, pyro, and all that. So great seeing Vince McMahon looking pretty good as ever. We also had Lita, Trish Stratus, Maria Menounos. They were in the house. Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Kurt Angle, Mick Foley, all of them were in the house. We already told you about Erin Andrews as well. Technically a celebrity, right? So it was pretty jam-studded tonight. Nice little touch that they did. You had Braun Strowman have an exchange of words with Tyson Fury, kind of mocking him a little bit, teasing him to fight him or whatever. And then at one point, we see Braun accidentally toss Dolph into Tyson, and then pretty much had followed that up with a power slam on Dolph to pick up the W. But he was looking at Tyson Fury the whole time, just mocking him, teasing him. Tyson wanted to come over that barrier bad, but security had stopped him and everything. So you can't help but wonder if maybe the seeds are being planted for something towards Survivor Series or potentially WrestleMania. What's going on there. Lumberjack match. Yeah, Roman Reigns defeat Eric Rowan via pinfall. Good matchup. I always cringe when I hear of a lumberjack match. I always fucking cringe, because it just, that, and I would say some type of a battle royal match on TV. I just cringe, because it's like, nah, man, we can do some other shit. But no. You know what? Even though I didn't particularly care for the lumberjacks being involved, Rowan. Damn, say that 10 times fast. Rowan. Good luck to you if you can say that 10 times fast. They had a good match. Eric Rowan, his evolution is just, I'm continuing to feel it, man. I'm really loving it. I'm more intrigued into this tag match that's going to be happening with Harper Rowan taking on Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns coming up at the pay-per-view. There's really no reason for us to go over the pay-per-view, by the way, as far as predictions go. They still only have 3 matches at this time that we're doing the show. And we did already talk about those 3 matches as far as picks go. So there's no reason for me to get into that again. But, I would say for what it was worth tonight, SmackDown, pretty good, off to a strong start. Very curious to see how the ratings are going to do for this one. Most importantly, who's going to come out as the top dog in this first week when it's all said and done. Looking at some more of the comments we got here before we get ready to wrap it up for the night. I like what Razor Wolf is saying. Unless you're a fan of UFC, there's no way you know who Cain Velasquez is. I think it was very disrespectful to Kofi Can I get a proper send-off? And the most part, bad end to a pretty good show. I'll have to disagree with you. I'll have to disagree with you, Razor. I do, because understand something. You've got so many fans, wrestling fans, that, okay, Brock Lesnar, MMA, Bobby Lashley, MMA, Ken Shamrock, MMA, Jack Swagger or Jack Hager, MMA. You got Undertaker, his love for MMA, right down to the point putting some MMA incorporated moves into his repertoire over the years, right? You've got so many. Who's my man? King Mo. Almost forgot about him over at Impact Wrestling and everything. When it comes to the world of pro wrestling, you always have, what is it? The big crop of your guys that go on to be pro wrestlers. What's the big crop? It's either former boxing, MMA fighters, football players. That's usually it, or maybe weightlifting. It's usually one of those four, or maybe a pure amateur wrestler. They went to the Olympics and all that other stuff, or tried to go play at the Olympics and everything. It's one of those five categories as far as, okay, these are the guys that usually go into the world of pro wrestling. It may not make sense on a much larger scale, but as far as Fox understanding its respected targeted audience, what they had at one point, and that connection and everything, why do you think it's not for the hell of it that they had WWE go on the NFL Fox shows, FS1 shows, do the whole media blitz? Yeah, it's because of the whole partnership and everything, but when you really break down the age demographics and you tap into that age demographic of, okay, what were these fans into? Everything connects the dots very brilliantly. Now, here's the thing. What's the first thing that most fans probably did when they heard the name Cain Velasquez? What's probably the first thing they did? If they were watching SmackDown on their TV, they probably had pulled out their phone, they probably had pulled out their tablet, and they did a type in, and then they got all the information that they had needed about that, and then, oh wait, this guy actually had fought Brock Lesnar. For some that maybe were not aware of it, now they're aware of it. Now they're going to kind of go out of their way to try to see what had happened. Because make no mistake about it. Oh my God, I can't believe it. We almost forgot about CM Punk. Yeah, he got his ass whooped twice. But that's another one that you still got to put into that whole realm, as well. So, understand something. When the WWE product and when wrestling as a whole was really hurting, most of those hardcore wrestling fans, they say, okay, you know what? I'm going to bounce out. I'm going to go check out the MMA. I'm going to go check out the boxing, right? And I'm going to go check out the NFL, or, they went to the real good shit, the real stuff. Only when certain things would happen, like CM Punk or a Brock Lesnar, or insert whatever name you want to insert, a Lashley or whatever, like, those names, that's how you kind of always stay connected to, okay, so here's what's been happening so far. WWE now has the responsibility of getting fans caught up to speed on who this guy is, because granted, now I will give Razor Wolf here the edge in his argument, which is, as you saw from SmackDown tonight, which took place at the Staples Center, if I'm not mistaken, the fans knew who Cain Velasquez was. They knew. The euphoria, the energy was popping. They knew. But is that same reaction? Now look. This again plays to wherever there has been MMA action. So if you bring Cain to DC, if you bring him to Philly, if you bring him to New Jersey, if you bring him to Rhode Island, yeah, he should be fine. What happens if you bring him to Kentucky? What happens if you bring him to North Carolina? What happens if you bring him to Utah? What happens if you bring him to Colorado? Is he still gonna get that type of a reaction? Rather than find out, WWE now has the responsibility of getting people caught up to speed on just who the hell this guy is and why a guy like Brock Lesnar kind of came off a little bit intimidated and wanting to face this man. But it is fine. It is fun. Oh my God, we almost forgot about Goldberg. Goldberg was in the house too. And that's another one that had dipped into MMA. That's another one. So, I mean, no matter how you spill it, man, like the world of pro wrestling, MMA, it intertwines. Intertwines. So many times over the years, it's intertwined. But WWE, they've got the most easiest task right now in painting with a great brush on canvas their story of Velasquez, Lesnar. And I can't wait to see what they're going to be able to do with this. I can't wait. All right, so on that note, that's going to do it. Please, before I get ready to wrap up the stream, make sure if you enjoyed the SmackDown recap review, please leave the likes, leave the comments. If you want more SmackDown reviews, I would be more than happy to do them. You just got to give me the feedback. We can either keep doing them live, or we could do it basically post-production and just load it up after the fact. At this point, I'll be coming back live Saturday night. I will be on at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be covering WOW Women of Wrestling Fallout. I'm looking forward to that. One of the main highlights for this week's WOW, we're going to see the beautiful and the lovely Amber O'Neal. She's going to be teaming up with one of my favorites. I have such a crush on her. Jessie Jones, trying to make wrestling great again. I believe they're calling themselves Grit and Glam. I think that's the name of their new stable. That's going to be awesome. Of course, the WOW Women of Wrestling Tag Team Tournament continues and everything. So that's going to be phenomenal. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords the RCWR Show. Be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes of the RCWR Show you may have missed. We got them available for on demand via YouTube and also on demand and downloads for your favorite listening platforms. All platforms, just use the keywords the RCWR Show. But once again, rest in peace, Kofimania, as Brock Lesnar ends the 6-month reign of Kofi Kingston. Brock Lesnar ends the 6-month reign of Kofimania in less than 10 seconds. This does not pale in comparison to when Sheamus defeated Daniel Bryan. And that was beautifully timed, and just the way that was just a beautiful, spontaneously how everything just developed from that. Like, there is just no rebounding from this. There just isn't. I agree with many of you. I wish Kofi Kingston had got a better send-off, at least a 15-minute match. Especially after the story that you had him go through with Randy Orton over the course of the past several weeks. But, hey, it is what it is. That's going to do it. Wishing all y'all to be safe, be kind to one another. If I don't see you for the WOW recap, I will see you for sure for that Hell in a Cell post show. We will be doing that on all the usual outlets. Good night, good morning.